and welcome to round 14 of the PPRL NASCAR Championship. Today we're at Road America, the East layout for 225 miles or 103 laps. Let's go down to the track for some interviews.
All right, hold on. Let me join. Go ahead. Start. I'm
Alright,
ready.
I am here with Waterfire, um, getting ready for this weekend's, for today's PPRL NASCAR race at Road America, the Square Circuit, I believe. What's your strategy headed in to
The
today's
strategy.
race?
Well, to be honest, the strategy here today is, you know, pretend there's no one on the track and just run the track. You feel me?
Yeah, I
And
like
like I did
that.
at home, I'm gonna pretend no one's around me and just run the track the way I want to run it. You feel me? So if someone's beside me, bro, I won't give them any room. You feel me?
Yeah, it's interesting strategy. You're not worried
It's
about
gonna.
getting. Are you
What
worried
I
about getting
probably.
penalties?
I'm not. I don't care about getting penalties, man. I don't care.
Okay, interesting. Do
The
you
thing
have?
about it, Black does it. If Black can do it, I can do it. You feel me?
Yeah, that's
Like
definitely one way to
if
go.
he doesn't get penalized, I shouldn't get penalized. You feel me? Kind of being
Yeah,
a hypocrite.
yeah. Do you have any like certain pit strategy this weekend?
Oh, pitch strategy, yes. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna run medium tires or probably hard tires to begin on the race. At the end of the race, I'm on soft tires. I want to stay out long as possible to be in first and go to lead. My goal is to qualify like top five, and the first lap, I'm going to dive bomb the corner and get to lead and just pull away as fast as possible.
Yeah, well, I wish you the best of luck this weekend. I hope you have a good race and hopefully you get to victory line. Thank you for your
All right,
time and we will see you on the track.
all right, bye.
Bye. Next on the docket for today's PPRL event, NASCAR race at Road America Square Circuit is Boss Racer. How are you doing today?
I'm feeling okay, coming off of my first win in the rookie season. Some momentum, but man, I'm not looking forward to this upcoming race.
Yeah, it was a pretty exciting race. You said you're not looking forward to this race. What about this race are you a little nervous for?
Man, I mean, you could just call me Danny Hamlin. Competitive on ovals, willing to make moves, take it 3 or 4 wide if I need to, but on the road courses, I just buy my time. I don't have a good feel for this next gen car at the road courses. It's a lot of work in progress, and I'm just trying to make it to the other side in one piece. We
Yeah,
already lost, we're already down to one backup car. We wrecked a lot during practice and testing, so I don't know. It's looking a little nervous for this team. I hope the sponsors pay the bills for another car.
yeah, for sure. Denny Hamlin with some heartbreak this last weekend in the championship. Hopefully, it's not the same for you this weekend. Do you have a certain pit strategy or race strategy that you plan to attempt this weekend?
Knowing that I'm not going to be super competitive, I'm just gonna pack it full of fuel, put tires on it, and run long. They pit, if people pit and I get to stay out for an extra lap or two, hey, that might be just enough for something. It may not be much, but it might be enough for something. So, um, just
Yeah,
take it where I can get it.
yeah, that could be an interesting strategy, especially with it being a road course. There's always that possibility of a caution. You're not worried that a caution will catch you out if you stay out and end up, going to the back of the pack.
Actually, a caution would be perfect. In all honesty, um, more than likely, I probably go a lap down and come close to going a lap down. And if everybody pits and I get to stay out with my piece of junk, then hey, I get the free pass, or at least be one lap down, and the race will fall into my hands. I can at least race for spots. Definitely not going to be for the win, but it could be worth something. So I take where I could get it.
Yeah, well, we wish you the best of luck here in the booth and hope to see a good result today at Road America. Good luck and thank you for your time.
Thank you, thank you.
Now I'm here with Taysbot, winner of 3 races recently in a row. What's your strategy this weekend here at Road America Square?
Strategy is try to get pole. If you don't get pole, basically you're gonna get stuck in a lot of traffic. If you get pole, you're gonna run away from the field, and that's what I'm gonna try to do.
Yeah, pole is definitely going to be advantageous, especially into turn one where there could be a lot of dive bombs, a lot of space, a lot of
Yes,
room to make moves, especially early. You got to get them while they're hot. Um,
I agree. Yeah,
what is,
God, Savage.
who are you looking for to be your biggest competition this weekend?
Biggest competition. I'm gonna go have to. My preference. Biggest competition is gonna be Ghost. Me and him have been running countless amount of laps that we've done so far. I can't tell you how many, but he's got the fastest lap currently right now. But I wasn't there when he did it, so I'm gonna say I don't believe him. But I got a feeling me and him are gonna run away from the field most likely.
Yeah, you two have really been the class of the field as of late. Another I can think of is, Dawson and Black as well have been pretty fast. I wish you the
Yeah,
best.
Dawson.
I'm sorry.
Let me get one more thing. Dawson and Black. Yeah, they're pretty fast competitors. They're gonna be right there with us. But I got a feeling me and the Ghost have a little bit more of an edge just because how many laps we've been running. I got a feeling Black's gonna be there, running up on our draft. Dawson, maybe he's gonna be there depending on where he finds, and maybe he get wrecked. Maybe he gets wrecked. Maybe something happens. I'm here for Ghost to win the championship. I'm here to help him win.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you for taking the time out of your day right before the race here to give us an interview. We wish you the best of luck and have fun.
Thank you. Thank you. See you, Savage.
See ya.
Running.
Okay, I'm here with PRG Black. Recently got his first career win in PPRL NASCAR at Eagle Rock. Congratulations. This weekend
Thank you.
is this weekend is Road America Square. What is your strategy headed into this?
Yeah, like I was saying, Tate and them's been practicing with me. I've been getting a lot faster as Tate just found out on the leaderboard. See, we practice as a team. Me, him, Ghost, all of ABR, and the satellite teams. We all practice together as one team. So let's go get it done this weekend. I hope Tate gets the pole, and I hope I can get right there, right behind him, and me, him, and Ghost just check out and say goodbye to the field, going through traffic.
Yeah, I mean, you guys do seem to be the class of the field. I look for you to be one of the, hardest people to pass. You're obviously, basically like Ryan Newman out there. Never letting anybody by. We hope to see more of that exciting action. I know you and I have had some pretty good battles at this layout, and we wish you the best of luck, and go get them.
Yep.
I am now joined by Gen 3 LS in the booth. Welcome. I understand this is your first official PPRL NASCAR race.
hmm
You excited?
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty excited. Other than the track that we're gonna go to, but it is what it is.
Yeah, Road America, the square layout is a difficult one.
we
Uh,
went from turning. We went from turning right to no, from turning left to turn right.
yeah, it's a little bit different, isn't it? Do you have a st- Do you have a strategy that you plan to deploy this
um,
weekend to maybe put yourself in a better spot?
strategy wise, I would probably say is like don't drive like an idiot. I'll say that, and try not to hit people.
Yeah, definitely. You want
But
to keep it clean out
but
there.
most definitely don't go to the grass
Don't go
in
into
that
the
one corner
grass.
because that one corner is going to get everybody because you're going to be up in the air and all that.
Yeah,
By that one little bump,
you don't want to hit
but
that deep braking zone off the
mhm.
backstretch is a hard one to hit. Well, thank you for joining me for this interview. I wish you the best
Thank
of
you.
luck this weekend, and just have fun.
Appreciate it. All right.
Okay, I am alongside, last but not least, Ghost Reaper, who is second in the PPRL NASCAR Championship standings with just 3 races to go. You're 10 points behind, and today we have Road America with square layout. What's your strategy looking like headed into this one?
Uh, we're gonna go for an early short pit, so we're gonna try and play the field a little bit, pit a little early. That way we can get fresher tires and have to take less fuel for the next pit stop, and bank on a caution coming out early, getting some track position there.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard a lot of different strategies. I want to give anything away. But yeah, I'm excited to see how this plays out. What what are you looking for as far as your opponents, mainly Dawson being the championship leader and you only 10 points behind? How do you plan to, what are you planning to do to beat him?
I have a lot of Toyota alliances and a couple Chevy alliances, so I'm banking on getting as many of those allied cars in front of him as possible and finishing as high as possible into the standings at the end of the race.
Yeah, so you're just gonna brute force points lead or catch up a little bit as much as you can. I like that strategy. Um, are you nervous heading into Road America?
No, I'm not. I've had a lot of practice, so I'm pretty confident with my ability to put down some pretty quick lap times, or at least be consistent. And I know this is kind of like a road course, not quite, but I'm usually in front of Dawson on the road courses, so I'm not too worried about this race.
Yeah, I mean, it is technically a road course. There's a slight left-hand bend, and it's mostly right-hand turns, so I would consider it a road course. Yeah, but it is basically just an oval, but turning right. I'm excited to watch your race. I know you'll be towards the front. Thank you for joining us, and good luck today.
Thank you.
Alright, and we are back in the booth with Mr. Insane Leader this week. How you doing? Oh,
A little earlier, and now we're gonna wash some GT racing down with some classic NASCAR action. But interestingly enough, not traditional NASCAR action. It's gonna be NASCAR action on an oval running clockwise. So you've been here a lot longer than I have. Coming into this race, what do you think the key aspect is going to be when it comes to running a oval that runs clockwise instead of counterclockwise?
yeah, this is an interesting track, you know. It's got a little bit of a bend on the backstretch. I think the main key for the drivers today is just going to be to keep the front of your car clean. Don't get involved in too many wrecks and just stay out of trouble and fight at the end.
So first up, of course, before we get underway for running the race itself, we'll have qualifying. Real quickly, for those of us who haven't been here before, feel free to run us down. What are we looking at in qualifying circumstances? How do we qualify in this?
Yeah, so we're going to be running a 2-lap sprint race with collisions turned off, I believe, so that everybody can get a clean lap in at the same time, and you will be scored based off your lap time, and that's how to start the race. Whoops, I think I was muted.
looks like we'll be looking at if I'm looking at this correctly, a 15 car field for today's event here.
Yes. And we are just getting into qualifying now. So everybody's gonna turn around and get whatever set of tire they choose. And then the second lap round will be their hot lap.
So important thing to consider here around this layout of Road America, this East Oval layout, as you're going down the back straightaway, there's a little bit of a bend that heads to the left, and the surface is not completely flat there. In some of the lighter cars, like your GT cars or your road cars, you can take enough speed over the little bend where the uneven surface will actually lift the inside tires up off of the ground, and if you don't land nice and smoothly, it completely upset your car. That's going to be a very important thing to keep an eye on in both qualifying and the race. Drivers that are able to control their cars over that little bit of an uneven surface right before the braking zone at the end of the back straightaway will have a gigantic advantage throughout the entire night tonight. And here we are now at the proper flying lap. This is the big money lap, the one that matters the most here. Now, not all drivers have started their final lap, but the majority have at this stage. Gotta be careful not to wash too wide. Coming out of turn one, you don't want to dirty your lap going too far over the rumble strips. That number 99 GoDaddy car seems to really be having a little bit of trouble holding the ideal inside line right now. Not sure what Boss Racer Pro is doing riding backwards around the circuit.
He isn't the greatest at the road courses. He is really good on ovals though. Okay. As drivers finish up, it looks like the grid will be Taze, Taylor, PRG Black and Thorn, Link the Racer, Ghost Reaper, he'll be disappointed with 6th place starting, JDM Culture, Waterfire, Frosted, Hockey, Nebo, Jen Gen 3 LS really slow. And Dawson did not qualify. Who are we waiting on? No, maybe Dawson did qualify. No, he didn't. He DNF'd somewhere. I'm not sure why. Maybe just wanted to start at the back.
All right, here you are. That's your final results there. A lap here seems to be taking a little bit more than 1 minute.
Yeah, it should be just over a minute. Anywhere between like a minute and 0.5 seconds to a minute and 3 seconds is going to be our race pace.
All right.
We will be going green here shortly.
All right, before we go green here, would you like to go ahead and run us through the championship point standings for the driver's points before we get underway here?
Okay, yes. Let me pull those up really quick. I know the leader is Dawson with 473 points. Ghost Reaper at 463. So that's a pretty tight battle. POG Black lays back with 405. JDM Culture with 404. And Hockey rounding out the top 5 with 351. So close battle at the front, close battle for a podium, and then everybody else. It's been kind of a crazy season that way. Yeah, I expect the front runners tonight to be, Ghost Reaper, Dawson. Taze is pretty fast. He won 3 races in a row at one point this season. Those are the guys I'm looking for to be extremely fast.
Of note, the interesting thing at the top of the championship standings that I noticed is that first, second, and third at this stage of the season all have only won a single race each. The main reason they're at the top of the field is that they are the 3 drivers that have actually attended every single race, and it looks like, as I'm looking at their results, it looks like they have all earned at least 27 points in 24 points minimum in every single event that they have showed in. So sheer consistency has been the strength of what looks like Dawson and Ghost Reaper's runs out here. Currently staying by, waiting for the event to be loaded up. I do want to go ahead and look at the team standings right now. Team standings are a little bit easier to keep track of at the moment. 12th in the team's championship is the SBR Chevy team. They have 24 points. 11th is GR, they have 49 points. Then it's a bit of a jump. 10th place is HFT in the Ford group. They have 179 points. 9th is the Privateer team. They are in the Toyotas. They have 182 points. 8th is UDP, another Toyota team with 282 points. 7th is SPR. They have 300 points. And that is a team that started very late in the season, but they do have 3 wins. 6th in points is MBR, a Chevy team with 305 points. That's another big jump till you get to number 5, which is the Trackhouse team. They have 470 points. That's another Chevy team. The highest Chevy team in the points, though, is fourth place. That is the JFR team. They have 482 points right now. Third is the BRM team with 556 points. Second is DBM in the highest of the four teams. They have 745 points. And dominating in the Manufacturers Championship right now is ABR in the Toyotas. They have 972 points this season, despite only having one win. So again, sheer consistency has been the dominant thing. Also, real quickly, let's look at the manufacturers' standings as they are right now. Things are a little bit tighter here. There are still a few more races left in the season, so things do still have a possibility of changing. Third is Ford with 1,205 points at this stage of the season. Second is Chevrolet with 1,331 points. And leading the Manufacturers' Championship is Toyota with 1,375 points at the stage of the event, or at this stage of the season.
Yes, overall pretty close championship amongst all facets, especially the manufacturers and the drivers, as those are the two closest with the team championship, not too far behind. We're going to take a short break, and we are going to be back shortly for the race. Just getting the races on right now. And we are getting word that a bus racer has been black flagged and likely will not be racing this evening. Unfortunate. Okay. Why can't I spectate? I click spectate. Well,
Did they change the lap counter?
did they?
I didn't see them do it. No, they did.
Yeah, they
I
did,
just missed
okay.
it.
I can't spectate for some reason. I swear I clicked
Wait just a little bit and see if we'll let you spectate in a bit.
Okay. Yeah, I should be able to spectate. Well, for now, let's go on board with Frosted to make his POV better.
I can see on the track at least. Right now, everyone is backing up and wrapping around, preparing to make their early race pit stops to throw on whatever set of tires it is that they want to throw on for the event.
I'm just going to go into test drive and then go back out. I clicked the button.
It might let you spectate once the drivers have started crossing the start-finish line.
Yeah, I don't know why. That's weird.
See if you can spectate now.
It won't let me. I clicked the spectate button and it just decided no.
Try backing out of the lobby and then jumping back into the lobby.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to. I mean, I don't have any other choice. I swear I clicked the button.
Well, everyone's backing out now, so it may not matter. You might get another chance here.
Yeah. I don't know what happened. Oh, we have more on-screen POVs. It's perfect. Let's... I know! Ooh. Yeah, okay. Looks like they're restarting the lobbies. We should be good to go. I do not know why it wouldn't let me join. Okay. We are lucky enough to have 5 different drivers on board with us this evening. We are on board with Black and Black, with West to West, T-Spot, Ghost Reaper, and Frosted. Give a massive shout out to those drivers. Thank you for letting us join on board with you guys this evening. Now we will take a short break and be back for the race here momentarily. Okay, looks like we are underway for this.
Yeah, it looks like we're gonna have attempt number 2 here.
Savage, we had a glitch going on in the game, so we had to reset a whole new lobby. And by the way, I am live if you want to broadcast from third place.
Yes, we got you. I got you on the stream.
Damn far. I'm gonna go try to get a top 3 for you again.
Good luck. Get back in the NASCAR RBC.
Yep.
And that was an impromptu conversation with POG Black, one of tonight's favorites and the winner from the most recent Eagle Rock race.
All right, and now we can see that they have loaded onto the circuit. I guess we are down to 13 cars at this stage. And we will have a 103 lap event. Technically 102 because you will have a pace lap at the start. But first, they're going to do their ritual of everyone going around and jumping into the pit lane here to put their ideal tire of choice on.
So tonight's race should be approximately a 3-lap race with the fuel being 30 laps and soft tires able to go about 30 laps as well.
Alright. Could end up making for an interesting scenario. There may be some merit in going ahead and running one stint in the middle or at the end of the race on the medium tires. Medium tires would be able to go about 45 laps, You do the math, 45 plus 30 plus 30, it's not the greatest ever. That's a little bit too many laps. You want to be able to add your lap time spent on each set of tires together so it gets as close to the 103 mark as possible. 30 plus 45 will get you to about 105. I think if you want to make this a two-stop race, there is a possibility that you could go 30 laps on softs, 30 laps on softs again, and then go about 43 laps on medium at some point in the middle of the event. However, you would not want to do that early on because the medium tires are so much slower than any fight that you would be in the middle of early on. When the field is packed up, you would almost guaranteed be losing it. However, the other thing to consider when it comes to that kind of strategy is the wild card of yellow flags. We do not know how many yellow flags are going to be over the course of tonight's event. If this ends up being a nice, clean race, not only will the event be over quickly, but it means that the field will get very spread out. You can get a lot of different strategies. But if we keep having yellow flags and the field keeps bunching up, there may not be any advantage to being on the medium tires even later in the event here.
Yeah, I think you're going to have to look out for that turn one dive bomb, especially from somebody like PRG Black, who is one of the most aggressive drivers in the field. I think it'll be a three-stop race because of fuel, not necessarily because of tires. I think you're going to want to stay on softs the entire night.
Wesda Best has finally come out of pit lane and will come down to catch the rest of the field momentarily here as everyone is doubling up for the start here. One of the more important things to remember about Road America, especially here on this east layout, is that the majority of the circuit is very narrow. You can be single file, no problem. You can be too wide through most of the corners. Well, some of the corners. You can't really go too wide in the final corner. There's only really one part on the track that you can be three wide at, and that is this very brief moment you see the field going through right now. And it's just a short period where you can go three wide through there, and then it almost immediately narrows up to being a two wide section. So while there is a lot of straightaway here, there's not a lot of room to get side by side with people. Every move you make has to be very, very low risk and very well thought out. As they are coming around the final corner, Savage, go ahead and walk us through down to the start here.
Looks like Taysbot is going to call him to the green as we head up the hill for the first time tonight. Let's go racing here at Road America. PRG Black on the outside. He gets immediately in line with Taze. Look for him to make a late braking move into turn one. He looks underneath the Taze. He gets under Taze now. He's on the inside of that 00 Chevrolet, but cannot hold Taze with momentum on the outside. Onto the backstretch. Somebody already in the pits. Looks like that's West the Best again. And LeBron is left. Wait.
Been a little bit more chaos farther down the grid. JDM Culture qualified relatively high up the grid, but went wide in turn one, then was too tight in turn two, and has fallen all the way down to 7th position, so about dead in the middle of the field overall right now. But the majority of the field has finally single filed out at the moment. That number 20 of Link the Racer is closed up on the 27 of Ghost X Reaper. They are nose to tail as they're coming uphill with XR Frosted Rain right behind. Big draft train right now. Taysbot is trying to run away from Black and break the draft train. If they can stay green and Taze can break the draft train, he could be in a fantastic position. And Royally Stoned has also jumped into the pit lane as well. I wonder if he has taken damage hitting someone from behind. And there is another car out. That was one of our top runners that's gone out there. That was Ghost Reaper. No, that wasn't Ghost Reaper. Who was it? Oh, and that's a Red Bull. That was PGR Black. Black has gone off circuit. Black, who is one of our top 2 runners, has gone off in turn number 2. He falls all the way down to 10th position. Now out of the top 10. For PRG Black, this is nightmare early on. And for Taysbot, this is great. He is now well out of drafting range. No one will have his draft for now.
Yeah, like I said, PRG Black, one of the most aggressive drivers in this league. He tried to make a dive into turn one to try to get ever closer to Taysbot, but it did not work and he lost out big time. So we go back to the pack a little bit to Ghost Reaper and XR Frosted, also Dawson. in that battle for second place. Or third place, excuse me.
Well, now that we've gotten several laps of green flag running in, it's time for everyone to calm down. The field's nice and spread out into single file formation a bit. Now is just time to go ahead, start hitting your marks, hitting your lines, just focus on getting good runs, and then get the nice big draft down to 2 gigantic straightaways here. As long as you are within drafting range of the cars ahead, you still have a chance to make up some ground. I'm looking right now at Q Nevo, who is tucked up behind JDM Culture, and they are both tucked up behind Dawson. Nevo is going to look to an inside, but he's not going to commit to it. He does try and cut the inside, not aggressively, just puts 2 tires on the inside grass to try and help him get turned around turn 3 there. It keeps him right behind JDM Culture and Dawson as they come out of turn 4. So 5th, 6th, and 7th all staying in one nice little 3-car drafting train as they come across the start-finish line once again.
You were just barely hanging on to the back of JDM Culture right now. Just wanting to stay in the pack, because as long as you're in the pack, you have a chance. That's all he wants right now.
XR Frosted was a little wide in turn 2 there, and now here we have Dawson making a move side by side between the number 10 and the number 15 as they go down the back straightaway. This is the point where the hill starts to fall away. They come racing down into what will be the most sensitive and difficult part of the track. You can see the left side tires gain a hint of air just before they jump into the braking zone, and Dawson is going to be able to keep it there, and JDM Culture puts the bumper to Frosted. Frosted rolls over, rolls 3-4 times, clear this turn point the catch fence, and to come to rest on the driver's side window as the car is upside down on the outside of turn number 4.
And he flips back on his roof.
The car is absolutely destroyed. Every single aspect on that number 15 machine is destroyed with the exception of the left rear brake, which has still a little bit of functioning behind it. Somehow, despite having this massive rollover though, we stay green for the moment here.
Let's go back to the lead pack. Looks like Link the Racer is closing in on Tazebot just a little bit, and he is dragging Ghost Reaper with him up to the front. We are going to have a 3-car battle on our hands here shortly.
That damaged car finally ducks into the pits here. So he will not be in the way of the leaders. So the leaders will have nice and relatively clean track ahead of them for the moment.
Yeah, so number
But we now have 2 drivers lapped down. Wes the Best, who pitted right away on the very first lap, and then XR Frosted, who, after that massive rollover, is also going to lap down. Royally Stoned is about 5 seconds up the road from your leader Tazebot right now. He also had to pit lap 1, but he was able to maintain enough pace that he has not yet gone a lap down.
Yeah, another rule I want to catch you up on, forgot to mention earlier, that's my fault, is we do not call cautions within the first 10 laps of the race, the last 10 laps of the race, or 10 laps after a caution. And that's why there was no caution when Frosted flipped into the grass.
10 laps before the end of the race, no yellows guaranteed. That is definitely an interesting scenario to hear. This also means that with that in mind, you will get the field very spread out like what we see now. The gap between the first place and 10th place is 26 seconds. That's almost half of a lap between 1st and 10th right now on the circuit. It's absolutely incredible. Despite that though, JDM Culture tried to go for a move on Dawson, but ended up hitting the 10 in the rear and got his own number 26 all sorts of squirrely and sideways on that little short street between turns 1 and 2.
Yeah, let's go back to 2nd and 3rd place. Link the Racer and Ghost Reaper having a hell of a battle right now for 2nd place. Ghost Reaper looking up the inside, doesn't quite have the momentum. Looks again to the inside to the final corner. Again doesn't have the momentum. Tries to stay close up the hill to the line, just wanting to get the draft. maybe make a dive-ball move into turn 1 as the leader is now coming up on lap traffic.
K-Spot is going to use the draft of the lap traffic, or almost lap traffic, in the form of Royally Stone to try and pull away from the rest of the field. Royally Stone moves out of the way. He does not want to hold up Link the Racer or Ghost Reaper's fight, so he's going to pull nearly completely off circuit. But in the process, that 20 got caught out. Here goes the 27. He goes through Ghost Reaper up, but Ghost Reaper slides off circuit. Coming out of turn number 2, it's Link the Racer who goes back to second position now.
Yeah, he bit off a little more than his car could chew into turn 2. Just overestimated how much speed he was, or underestimated how much speed he was carrying. And just didn't quite get it slowed down. Went a little bit off the track and allowed the 20 of Link the Racer back through.
And now, that number 77 nearly spins out right in front of the number 20. He goes all the way off circuit, and that's going to really hold him up. Is Royally Stone going to be okay? He did hit the outside wall on the way uphill. I see no damage to the car. A big spin and slide, a little bit of a lick on the outside wall uphill, but he will be able to continue, albeit he will be the third driver to go a lap down at this point of the race.
Keep an eye on PRG Black. He is 4 seconds behind Nebo, but he is in 7th place. What a recovery for him after that early mistake. Fell all the way back and is back up to 7th.
At this stage of the race, there's 71% of the fuel tank left for Taysbot in first place. For second place, Link the Racer, he has 70.5%. For third place, Ghost Reaper, he is currently running with 70.5% in the tank. But here's the interesting thing, Ghost Reaper has a little bit of engine damage. Now, they're in a scenario like this where fuel is an issue in this race. Having engine damage actually has a very small pro. You don't want to have it, but if it happens, there could be a scenario. With engine damage, you're going to be using less of your power. By using less of your power, that means that you are going to be able to go farther on fuel. Not by a massive amount, it's only saying up to give him an extra lap or two, but if Ghost Reaper spends a lot of time here in Link the Racer's draft and just does not go for any moves, he's just willing to hang out behind, he can let his time behind Link the Racer extend the amount of time the 27 is able to stay out on track and can minimize the amount of fuel he would have to take on in his following pit stop potentially. It's not the greatest, it's not the easiest strategy. You don't want to ever be in the scenario where you have a damaged engine and have to go to the strategy, but having a little bit of engine damage, even at a very power-focused circuit like this one here, could be turned into a strategy benefit. But that 27 is still fine with the number 20. They're going to go side by side as they head into turn number 3. This time the 20 backs out. He's going to try to cross the 27 over. Gets to that right rear corner panel. The 27 shuts the door. Shuts the door shut as they come out turn number 4. Ghost Reaper will hold on to second place for the moment.
Ghost Reaper now 3.5 seconds behind Taysbot the leader. Let's see if he can hunt him back down.
Bit of a hiccup there by Q Nebo. Oh, and someone's gone off there. Someone's gone off in turn 1. That is Royally Stoned in that number 77, who has had a gigantic incident. Everything on the front of that car is destroyed. The engine is torn up. It looks like the number 77 may have completely missed the braking zone, and that car is absolutely destroyed.
Yeah, that looks like that might be a caution. We'll have to see if he gets it back going again. They do race back to the line. So let's take a look at the leader, see if he begins to slow down. Looks like he will not be slowing down. So there must not have been enough cars involved to warrant a caution. But Ghost Reaper is still losing a little bit of time to Taysbot. The gap now 3.8.
At this stage of the event, the top 3 drivers are all kind of in their own zone, and really, Taysbot is completely separated from second and third, but you look at 4th, fifth and sixth. That's Dawson, JDM Culture, and Q Nebo. They're all running within about 5 seconds of each other. And then you have PRG Black, who's about another 3 seconds behind Q Nebo. Then it's a big jump back, about 9 seconds back, till you get to Hockey 2487. Then another 3 seconds back to Gen 3. And then Waterfire is about 10 seconds away from going a lap down at this stage of the event here.
Yeah, PRG Black.
That number 77 is crawling down the back straightaway here. He's likely going to go 4 laps down before he's able to make a pit stop.
Surprised I haven't quite called a caution for Royally Stoned yet, but it looks like he is able to stay out of the way of the leaders as he just goes against the wall, making sure not to hit anybody.
This could be a bit of a problem because second and third are coming up. 77 is going to have that apex. No, he jumps under the brakes to let second and third go by. Still holding the extreme inside line here. And we'll see Dawson go by, followed by JDM Culture a little bit later. Has the car stalled out?
No, I think it's just
the car has...
Maybe it has.
Yeah, with all that engine damage, he may not be able to get the torque necessary to get through the dirt here. All right, now it looks like he's moving.
Yeah, I think he was just letting everybody by him, and the dirt really slowed him down.
The only question now is, will this number 77 with this very badly damaged engine, will it have enough torque to carry him up the hill and into pit road here? It looks like the answer is yes.
He is. Oh, yep, he did make it.
All right. Meanwhile, for 5th and 6th position, JDM Culture is starting to slide backward into Q Nebo's grasp right now. JDM Culture in that number 26, I think he may have been saving a little bit of fuel here. At the rate that he is going, I think there's a possibility that JDM Culture will be able to make this on 2 stops. He is not burning a whole lot of fuel. I think a 2-stop strategy may still be in the cards for some of the drivers here. Now, if you want to make this a 2-stop strategy, you would want to go to about lap 34, and you'd want to go about 34 laps each time, and then one of your stints you'd need to go 35 laps on a tank. And with how long the pit lane is here, you can afford to bleed a little bit of time on track. You will make it up by just skipping pit roads. Pitting is going to take so much time here. But still, we're only halfway through this first fuel and tire stint. Things can still change. But the thing is, for JDM Culture, is that by backing off and saving fuel, it is gradually dragging Q Nebo back into the fray. Another driver talked about is PRG Black. Black has rocketed his way back up into the 7th position on circuit, but he is absolutely tearing through his tires and fuel, and it seems like he's stalled out in about the 7th position. The gap between himself and Q Nebo has actually been very gradually growing bigger and bigger over the last few laps here. So Black may have kind of stalled out in 7th spot on circuit right now.
Yeah, Black does like to chew through his tires, get max performance out of them right away when he can. He likes to make it up in the early run and just hope he can hang on at the end. But with that mistake early in the run, I'm not sure what strategy is going to pay off for him. Ghost Reaper now is beginning to pull back on Tazebat just a little bit. It was 4.6. It's down to about 4.4. And Link the Racer is less than a second behind Ghost Reaper. Looks like everybody will be able to make it to about lap 36. So they're getting better with fuel economy than initially anticipated.
The main duo I'm looking at when it comes to fuel economy is JDM Culture and Q Nebo. At the rate that they are going, they may be able to go about 1 lap farther than most of our leaders. I'm not saying it is an absolute guarantee, but it is a possibility. if Cunebo can actually catch JDM Culture down the straights. What Cunebo might elect to do is save some fuel in the draft. The main way you'll do that is by gaining someone else's draft. Their draft will help pull you to your top speed earlier, and then you can let off of the throttle a little bit earlier at the end of the braking zone. Get on the brakes a little earlier so you're not spending as much time on the throttle. It doesn't sound like a lot, and to be fair, it might only save you 0.1% on every braking zone. But if you're saving 0.2% every single lap, if you do that time and time again over 30 laps, you do the math, that would save you about 3% worth of fuel. 3% can get you at least an extra lap, maybe 2. And if you save even more, you can just let off even more. And we have a caution. The field is bunching up for a yellow flag. It looks like whatever may have happened might have involved Wesda Best, who is jumping into the pit lane here, and they have heavily damaged front end right now. Interesting thing for Waterfire is that Waterfire had just gone a lap down before this yellow flag came out. So for right now, he is tucked up behind your leader, Tazebot. He is ahead of XR Frosted. He's going to have several cars between them. So there is a legitimate fight for 10th position between Waterfire and XR Frosted right now.
Maybe everybody, I assume.
Oh, PRG Black has wrecked under the yellow. PRG Black's car has been wrecked under the yellow flag. He has had an accident in that little bit of uneven terrain, and he has hit the wall on the left side, and PRG Black's car is destroyed. And our leaders are all pitting.
Yeah, fortunately for PRG Black, we are under caution, so he will not lose really any time. It will mostly just be track position that he loses. But he is back in the fight.
So everyone pitting now, this definitely guarantees that this will be a 3-stop race. But there are 83 laps left in the event. If you're looking to make the race to the end on just 2 more stops, you divide the number 83 by the number 3, because you would have 3 more fuel and tire stints. That would be about 3 goes into 81. About 27 times. If you could go about 27 laps each run to the end, you would be fine. So you could actually afford to underfill the cars just a little bit if we stay green to the checkered flag here. I don't think we will, but if that ends up being what you can pull off, you could make it work. Also, it looks like XR Frosted is going to get back onto the lead lap, and so will Waterfire. They will also get back onto the lead lap by the looks of it.
Yeah, everybody is allowed to get their laps back under caution, so, well, 1 lap. Everybody gets 1 lap back under caution. So you'll see West to Best and Royally Stoned. They'll pit and then they'll come back around, and they will catch the back of the field.
Wesda's already made his stop, and he's already rushed around, so he's going to go from 3 laps down to 2 laps down. Stoned is still in the pits right now.
Looks like we are preparing to go green this time by, as people are double file.
XR Frost has only now come out of pit lane. He is on the lead lap, but he is going to be about half a lap down as our leaders are coming down here to double file up. So the number 27 will be on the outside. That gold 00 of Tazebot will be on the inside. Reminder, Tazebot has led just about every lap thus far today. He has seemingly been unstoppable, but now he's got an entire field behind him. Does the 27 or that number 20 try and go for a big move going into turn 1?
I think Ghost Reaper's just a little bit faster on fresh tires than Tazebot, but you saw Taze really stretch his legs the longer the run went on. So we'll see if Ghost Reaper can get the lead, and if he does, if he can hang on to it. As
Wesda Best comes back into the pit lane, Waterfire will just barely catch the rear of the grid as we go green flag here at Road America. No, we're waiting another lap. We are going to wait 1 more lap here.
that was a false green flag. Looks like we're still waiting on somebody.
Yeah, Wesda Best and Royally Stone, despite being multiple laps down, have still not caught the rear of the grid. Royally Stone is still 3 laps down at the moment. He has made a stop, and then Wesda also jumped into the pits again. I'm not sure if he damaged the car on something or what.
Okay, so there will be no more cautions until lap 32, I believe. It's like best the best. And Royally Stoned have got the field just about. Yes, they have.
Yep, alright, so now the entire field has grouped up. This time we should actually go green. Again, Tazebot inside, Ghost Reaper outside, Link the Racer inside, well, yeah, Tazebot inside, Ghost Reaper outside.
And we have
That US
West
Navy car is in ghost mode right now. I'm not really sure what's going on there.
He will give those spots back. Yep, there he goes, using those. He will give the spots back. Taze leads him up the hill once again. About to go green. I think.
First restart of the night as they come across the line to start lap 22. Can Tazebot maintain his dominance over the field? We're going to find out that number 20 gave the 00 a big shunt there, and they are 3 wide farther back already. Pierre back trying to make the extreme inside work. I don't know if that's a good move. He's going to back out just a little bit early in the corner so he doesn't take the field with him. And Black is actually going to lose several positions in the process. And there's the car around, hard in the wall. That was JDM Culture, who has taken a humongous hit on the inside wall. The car is going to be absolutely fine. There is no damage to that 26 despite being a humongous impact. Ghost Reaper and Link the Racer holding nose to tail for second and third positions. Now that 20 is going to look to the outside of the 27, going to try and cross him over on the exit of turn 3. The 27 is also lost to sideways. The 20 is going to lunge to the inside, side by side for a second position as they come out turn number 4. The 27 is wide, but he's got the power down. Side by side between the 20 and 27 again. And here comes Dawson in that number 10 machine, in that Haas factory car. Coming up behind this, it's going to be a menage a trois here for second position. Dawson has more speed than either of the cars ahead. He puts the bumper to the number 20. The 20 looks to the inside, heavy into the braking, going into turn number 1, and yes, it looks like the number 27 will hold station, but no, Ghost Reaper is wide. He's terribly wide. Link the Racer's got to back out just a little bit here. Dawson runs just behind, and the number 20 is in ghost mode and slows down in turn number 2, and that will give the position to Dawson. So Dawson now moves himself up into the third position, running the draft of Ghost Reaper.
Look at that, the cream rises to the top. Our 2 championship contenders, Dawson and Ghost Reaper, are 2 and 3 right now. This is only for a 1-point difference in the championship. But if Ghost Reaper can track down Taze and pass him, he could get another few points on Dawson. But Link the Racer is going to have a go at Dawson, it looks like, down into turn 1. Getting my draft, looking to the outside now.
Dawson defending the inside as best as he can. The 20 is going to go deep. He's going to go really deep and around the outside. Link the Racer goes back into the third spot now. Well, after everything is said and done, PRG Black 30 is back in the 7th position, so it seems like this seems to be his ceiling. While he qualified a little bit better than this seems to be the best that PRG Black is able to run in this event. He does not seem to have what it takes to run with drivers in the top 6 across the day today.
Yeah, he does seem to be struggling just a little bit more than he was hoping to be right now.
All right, Dawson closing down on Link the Racer once more on the start finish line straight. Heading down to turn number 1, there's a little bit bigger gap this time. The number 10 looks to the inside, has a shallower entrance. We'll try and parlay that into a nice wide exit. But it was not the ideal line. The gap between Link and Dawson opens just a little bit. It's now about half a second. The draft stops kicking in once the gap between the two cars is about 0.7 of a second. So for the moment, Dawson is close enough. He should be able to still get a draft off that number 20. Try use that to close back in this fight for third.
Let's take a look at our first and second place cars. It looks like Ghost Reaper.
Oh, Link's gone off! Link has gone way off in the final corner!
Oh, he is.
To the dirt. Oh, and he's not the only one! That was another car! Was that the Red Bull Black?
That's
That was
PLG
Black who
Black
went off in
again.
the same corner right afterwards! No damage to either car!
PLG Black looked at Link the Racer go off the track and said, "Give me a piece of my action. Let me follow you in, my bud."
And through all of that, Q Nebo in the GoDaddy number 99 has moved up into the fourth, the highest that they have been all race long here.
Waterfire not too far behind, just sniffing my draft, looking to get past him.
Big thing about Waterfire is that he was a lap down before the yellow flag, but the yellow flag came out, he was able to get a lap back and back on the lead lap. He is doing a great job fighting in the top 5 positions right now. Sometimes you'll get a little bit of bad luck, and sometimes you'll get some good luck later to help cancel it out.
You know what they say, it's better to be lucky than to be good. And that's what Waterfire is here today. He is extremely lucky. He was able to avoid that earlier restart shenanigan crash mess thing, and is now capitalized and put it into a top 5. Tazebot stretching his legs on Ghost Reaper just a little bit, to a tune of about 2.4 seconds.
Wesda Best has gone a third lap down now to Tazebot and will be caught by Ghost Reaper and Dawson momentarily here. Still at this stage, Wesda is about a straightaway ahead of Royally Stone, as those two drivers are still on the same lap with each other, so they are legitimately fighting against each other for positions right now. PRG Black will be able to muscle his way by Hockey 2487 coming onto the back straightaway, and now he's going to try and have to close down on JD and Culture, but the gap between Black and Culture is about 6 seconds, about 5 seconds right now, so it's going to be a long charge forward for him.
Dawson looking to close the gap on Ghost Reaper. These are your 2 championship contenders right now. PRG Black also with an outside shot at the championship, but extremely unlikely. It is basically a fight between Dawson and Ghost Reaper with just 3 races left and only 10 points separating the two. Ghost Reaper not quite gaining enough points on Dawson as it stands to make enough of a dent with 2 races left after this.
All right, Dawson 14 now has a draft off of the lap car of Wesda Best. He's going to try and use this to close the gap between himself and Ghost Reaper down a little bit. It does seem like, though, over the course of this event, no one is able to keep up with Tazebot. Taze is basically in a zone of his own across the day today. Taze would basically have to have a massive mistake somewhere, either in the pit lane or going off circuit, if he's going to end up losing this race. Dawson clears Ghost Reaper. The gap between second and third is about 1.6 seconds. The gap between Taze and Ghost is twice that, about 3.2 seconds. Cunebo is about 5 seconds off of Dawson right now, and they have Link the Racer, who went off circuit about 3 laps earlier. Now Link is closing back in on Cunebo for the 4th position on track here.
Take a look at the battle for 6th place. Waterfire under pressure from outside Frosty, who flipped earlier in this race a couple of times down here in this corner. goes a little bit wide, but keeps it on the pavement. We are using NASCAR track limits.
Uphill and across the line, Frost is just close enough to Waterfire to hold the draft on him. The interesting thing is that JDM Culture is only about a second and a half behind this duo. If Frosted and Fire spend too much time side by side, they will slow each other down and bring JDM Culture back into the fray. Reminder, Culture had that accident, somehow didn't damage the car, but he had the accident right on lap 1 coming out of turn 1 on the restart.
Look at this battle for first place with Nebo and Link the Racer. Link the Racer getting a strong draft. Heading into turn 3, looking to the inside. Dives it up the inside. Lot of momentum. Gets a tap from Nebo into the wall and spins. And he will sit there, let the field go by, and try not to get
No damage to the number 20, but it seems like this race goes from bad to worse for him. Now he has to fight with PRG Black.
See if he makes an aggressive dive bomb down into turn 1. Looks like he will, and he will make it stick. Let's go back to Tazebat, see what he's doing. Looks like Tazebat, the leader, is in a completely different postal code to the rest of the field.
JDM Culture has caught Waterfire, so a fight for 5th position is still alive.
Let's go.
26 taking a nice wide entry through turn 3, but it may have been too wide. He drops the outside tires in the dirt, slows himself down just a little bit, but he still has a draft on Waterfire as they begin to ascend uphill. Drag race 79 car on the outside just can't seem to do anything to Waterfire, and Waterfire clears JDM. JDM clears Waterfire without any issue. So put JDM Culture back into the top 5 after wrecking right away on the restart. This is a great recovery drive he's trying to stitch together right now.
Let's go through the field really quickly and just take a look at everybody's fastest laps. Tazebat with the 101.152. Ghost Reaper with the 101.338. Dawson with the 101.582. Nebo with a 101.929. JDM Culture with the 101.77. Waterfire with the 102.368. Frosted with the 102.086. Link the Racer has right now the fastest lap at a 101.085. POG Black at 101.762. Hockey has a 102.456. Gen 3 LS has a 102.642. West the Best 3 laps down has a 102.52. And Royally Stoned has a 102.954. So I believe that is Link the Racer with the current fastest lap of the race.
Right now, ran around in 11th place all by himself is Gen 3L. Completely lost the touch with everyone else, and if you look at the car, the reason is very clear. He has obviously missed a shift, has destroyed the engine. It's at 15% damage right now. It's enough that he's willing to stay on track, but he's just going to continue to hemorrhage large amounts of time as this is going on. I imagine by about the time we get to lap 42 or so, he's going to go a lap down to Tazebat here.
Yeah, with that 15.7% damage, he will need to fix that in the pits when he does come down here shortly. However, he's got to be careful the rest of us run not to do it again, or it could be a money shift.
Yeah. JDM Culture, Waterfire, XR Frosted, Link the Racer, and PRG Black all are running within about 7 seconds of each other. Frosted has just about caught Waterfire, so the fight in the midfield is still very much alive right now, even though it looks like our top 4 drivers have all pretty much solidified their positions on track.
Tazebat with an even better stint than the first stint of the race, pulling away to the tune of about 5.2 seconds as Joel Frosted makes the move on Waterflow and makes it stick. He will now go and hunt down JEM Culture.
Fire will get a little bit of a draft off of that rose painted black and red machine, trying to use that draft to keep Link the Racer behind. But I do think that Link the Racer is probably the fastest out of this entire midfield pack right now, and something's gone wrong with Black. Black has suddenly given up about 4 seconds this last circuit. I wonder if he went off and we missed it there.
He does not appear to have any damage.
And around the outside, Link the Racer is going to clear Frosted there. So Link the Racer now up into 6th position. Waterfire has gone off. Not massively off, but he did go off a little bit, which let Frosted and Link get by. And now Link will have a chance to try and run down on JDM Culture.
It's kind of been the story of the race so far, hasn't it, with Link the Racer being one of the fastest drivers, but just keeps making mistakes that bites him in the butt. He falls back, battles his way, all the way back up, and then he's probably passed most cars, if I had to guess.
Yeah, I feel at this point in the race, he probably has passed more cars than anyone else. We are about 1/3 of the way through the event right now. Question is going to be, when will drivers elect to start making what will be their second stop? And do we stay green flag long enough to have a set of green flag stops?
I believe we are in the window to make it on one more stop, if I'm not mistaken. After this next...
We are at about 66 laps left in the event. If you can go 33 laps on a tank of fuel this time and next time, then yes, you could pit now and only have to make one more stop. Now, I imagine a lot of these drivers might choose to wait and pit as late as possible so they don't have to put as much fuel in the car. You put less fuel in the car, you spend less time on pit road. But you could potentially pit, not necessarily this lap, but next lap, and likely be good to the end if you can save just a little bit of fuel by lifting and coasting going into some of the corners here.
Exactly, with everybody at or around that 50% fuel mark, we've been green for about 16 laps, so they can really only go about 32, 33 laps. It would be close to make it to the end on one more stop after this next stop until we stop now. So I would expect pit stops within the next 10 laps or so.
Fight for 5th place is on as Link the Racer has caught JDM Culture. That number 20 is going to look to the inside of the number 26. 26 has a little bit wider line, trying to maximize the traction on the exit of the corner. The number 20 has his draft, though. Now the 20 is going to go to the right side of the 26, going to try and complete the overtake before they get into the braking zone. And I think that DeWalt-sponsored Toyota will make the pass stick. Yes, he does. Link the Racer clears JDM Culture before they get down to turn 3.
Link the Racer is about 25 seconds behind the race lead, but I think he sees red. He wants to get that lead, but let JDM Culture having a look at him back on the inside. This battle is not done yet. Down into turn 1. Who's gonna break the latest? They make a little bit of contact. Link the Racer loses out. JDM Culture back through into 5th.
11th place driver Gen 3 is about to go a lap down as well. And yes, now he has officially gone a lap down to Taysbot at this stage of the event. And this fight for 5th will not give up, as now they're on the back straightaway again, and once again, Link the Racer clears JDM Culture.
Gen 3 LS has another 3% of engine damage, now at 18%, so that is only going to hurt him.
I think this time Link has cleared JDM Culture. Well, I think Culture might be close enough to get a bit of a draft. I don't think he's going to be close enough to pull up alongside going to turn 1. Not this time, at least. Next car up the road will be Cunibo, who is running around in 4th position. Cunibo very obviously not anywhere close to the pace that Link the Racer has. I think it's very likely we see Link get Cunibo here by about lap 44 or so.
Taysbot continuing to stretch his lead to 6.3 seconds and growing over Ghost Reaper. He is waxing the field right now.
Gen 3 finally elects to pit after going a lap down, so he'll use this to go ahead and repair the car before continuing. The good news is he still has 2 laps over Wesda and Rolly Stone. The bad news is that he is the only car a lap down. And at the rate that he is going, there is a likelihood he may go a second lap down if he ends up damaging that engine again.
Yeah, he might go another lap down anyway, with his pace, because Taysbot, his pace is just, he's able to run consistent laps, lap after lap in the low 101s. He has a sub 1 minute 1 second, sub 61 second lap time for Taysbot. Link the Racer quickly tracking down Nebo right now. Only 1.2 seconds and shrinking. So the track is
about 1.1 seconds between Cunibo and Link the Racer this time, so Link is still not close enough to get a draft off of that GoDaddy car. But he has driven away from JDM Culture. You have to wonder, is there a possibility that XR Frosted, who runs in 7th position, can catch JDM Culture? And someone's gone off. Was that JDM Culture who's gone off? No, that was not. That was someone else. That was, who was it that went off there? That was one of the lap cars, wasn't it? That was 13th place Rolly Stone who went off there. Got a little excited for nothing. Big thing about JDM Culture running in 6 is that he has a bit of engine damage, 4.2%, but he does have engine damage, and that will give drivers behind a chance to close down. You look at the driver in that number 15 black and red machine of XR Frosty, he has no engine damage, so if he put together some good laps, he might be able to run down. Oh, and Link's already got Cunibo to the inside. He clears the number 99 before they even get to the start-finish line.
Nope, but Cunibo, number 99, pulls the crossover, looks to the inside, but does not dive bomb. Thinks better of it, saying, hey, there's still 60 laps to go. I do not need this position right now. Let's watch Link the Racer attempt to track down Dawson from about 12.5 seconds back.
I'm not sure if that's going to happen. I'm not saying it can't happen, but the good news is Link the Racer is back in the top 4 positions where he arguably belongs. The bad news, he has 12 seconds before he catches Dawson, 24 seconds before he catches the race leader. I don't know if that's going to happen. Again, I'm not saying it can't happen. We still have not even hit halfway in this race. Oh, and Cunibo goes into the dirt. He's able to keep enough tires on the track to stay on the circuit, but he's going to lose a huge chunk of time in the process.
Yeah, Cunibo with a four-wheel slide there in turns 3 and turns 4. Or I guess, what do you even consider turn 3 and turn 4? Do you consider the kinks?
I consider turn 3 to be that really wide corner that narrows up the right-hander, the one that you don't use normally on the full circuit, and then turn 4 is the very, very last corner.
Okay. So you don't consider the kinks on the backstretch?
No, I don't consider the kink a corner.
Okay, because F1 probably would.
Yeah, no, the actual official, run around here, apparently turn 2 is the straightaway between what's actually turns 1 and 2. And turn 3 is that little kink that you're talking about. It's honestly ridiculous. I do not understand why they call it that way. It's one of the things that absolutely infuriate me about this circuit.
Sometimes you just gotta wonder who's in charge of, putting
Wes the Best has had an accident somewhere. The front of that blue Navy car is absolutely destroyed, yet despite that, he is staying out on circuit with 100% damage on the aerodynamics of that car. I'm not really sure what's going on in that crew. Also, Hockey has gone a lap down now as well to your race leader of Taysbot. Hockey in that 2007 era Jeff Burton Prilosec OTC/Singular Wireless car. I remember watching that drive around when I was a kid and young teenager.
Yeah, so do I, honestly. I remember that was one of my favorite cars, solely because it's purple. I love purple. That was always one of my favorites. It kind of reminds me of if you've ever played those early NASCAR Thunder games. There was that lightning paint scheme that you could do on your custom car. That's what it reminds me of. Link the Racer's
that's a good point.
Passed by Nebo again. I think something's wrong with Link the Racer. Link the Racer back into 5th. Doesn't have any damage. Must have just been a mistake. But he is let Nebo back by.
PRG Black has finally disposed of Waterfire and has secured 8th spot for now. At this stage of the race, looking at the fuel and tire wear, 45% on that left front tire for Taysbot. His fuel is at 18% right now, so we're likely going to see pit stops here about halfway through the event at the rate that we are going.
I believe you.
And when they pit, they're only likely going to have to make one more stop afterwards. I'm really interested to see if drivers try to pit a lap early, try to burn some laps on fresher tires, or if they're going to pit a lap later, a lap or two later than others, and hope that putting a little bit less fuel in the car will help them out here.
Link the Racer finally catches back up to Nebo, looking to the inside down the backstretch. It'll be on the outside to left-hand kink, but then he'll be on the inside again into what we consider turn 3 and turn 4. Over the bump, takes it.
Oh, he went
Nebo
deep,
with
and look at the
crossover.
99, crossed him over. That was incredible.
Hands tough on the outside though, looking for a crossover himself. No, Nebo blocks it, but doesn't get to run, and Link the Racer does get to run and makes the move and makes the pass into 5th place.
And as these two are fighting, JDM culture back there in 6th is starting to close back in on this duo all over again.
Oh, well, they're battling. Dawson has pulled away from Link the Racer. Another 5 seconds. Now the gap is 17 seconds. Looks like we're going. Oh, Taysbot pits.
Pitting a lot earlier than anticipated. There's still about 55 laps in the event. Now Tays can easily make it to the end, and Ghost Reaper is going to join him in the pits as well. So Taysbot and Ghost Reaper are pitting on the earlier side of things. They're going to be going about 55 laps from now to the end of the race, and they only want to make one more pit stop, but it looks like Dawson is going to stay out for a little bit longer. This means that for the first time today, we will have a driver who is not Taysbot leading here at Road America.
Exactly, Dawson. Something I've noticed watching Dawson is he likes to stay out as long as he can hoping for that caution to catch everybody behind him so he can pit and maintain the lead. But a lot of people pitting now. Ghost Reaper, Nebo, Frosted, PRG Black, amongst the pits.
Yeah, at this point, it's only Dawson and Link who have not yet made their second stop. There is a big advantage in staying out, potentially. If you are happy with how your car is handling, the fuel load will be nice and light. You don't have to carry as much weight through the corners. You can get on the power a little earlier, potentially, as well. You can see some drivers put together some absolutely stunning laps by staying out later. The other advantage as well is that for Dawson, he would have the potential ability to catch a few other drivers a lap down as well, so he might not have to worry about them as much later. Another possibility is that when he does make a stop, he will have to put less fuel in the car. He's caught the number 9 of PRG Black. Link the Racer is pitted now out of second position, but Dawson has caught PRG Black and is going to try and put him a lap down here. And with that, that means that only our top 8 drivers are still on the lead lap at this stage of the event.
PRG Black, though, he's going to want to get that lap back, and he will have fresher tires, so he'll probably have a run at Dawson down into turn 3 and turn 4.
Also, JD and Culture has also not yet made their stop, and Tazebot is right ahead, so Tazebot is actually dealing with a little bit of a fight from somebody who he's really not spent a lot of time with today. Now, JD and Culture hasn't really been the most aggressive person as the stint has gone on, but he is holding on to Tazebot and can use Tazebot as a bit of a draft to tow him around and use this to save a little bit more fuel. So while, Dawson is now making his stop right at lap 50, so this will give the lead back over to Tazebot. But Dawson has gone about 5 laps longer than what Tazebot did, so he will be able to put a little bit less fuel in the car potentially if he wants. He'll also have slightly fresher tires than Tazebot for the next stint of this race here.
JD and Culture choosing to still stay out must think that the draft of Tazebot is worth it if he can stay in the draft. He will gain time by staying out in that draft.
And well, Taze is definitely the fastest car on track, I feel. I think that JDM Culture is making a very, very smart decision to do that. But the moment he loses the draft from Tazebot, I suggest that JDM Culture should put immediately because he does still have a little bit of engine damage, crippling his top speed a bit here.
Somebody is slow on the circuit.
Yeah, that is Wezdabes, who has completely totaled the car. Everything on the front end of that car is destroyed, from the engine to the steering, the aerodynamics, the brakes, everything on Wezda's machine is destroyed. Is that going to be a yellow flag?
Dawson making a move on Waterfire after coming out of the pits. So it looks like Dawson is actually just maintained position after it stopped. If he would have stayed out any longer, he probably would have lost too much time.
Yeah, but the good news for Dawson now, as Waterfire finally jumps into the pits, the good news for Dawson now, though, is that he will have a small tire advantage going forward, and he can choose to pit later again if he wants, and if he chooses to pit later a second time, when he pits the second time, he'll be able to put even less fuel in and will have even fresher tires to the end. If we stay green to the end here, Dawson's small advantage could continue to build as the event goes on. Wezda still has not yet made it into the pit lane. Now he's coming into the pit lane. Gen 3 also is in pit lane right now as well. He is going to repair that massive damage that he has to the car at the moment.
JDM Culture in the pits.
And finally, JDM Culture pits out second.
Really stoned about to go another lap down. Getting in the way of Taze, like way a bit, slowing him way down. But Taze eventually goes.
So JDM Culture had been fine with Link the Racer beforehand, but Link the Racer pitted early. JDM Culture waited a long time before making a stop. Now, unsurprisingly, Link will clear JDM Culture just because I think Link is a faster car, but JDM, by virtue of pitting about 8 laps after Link the Racer did, is going to have a significant tire advantage. So again, if this stays green to the end, I'm really interested to see if JDM His tire advantage will let him close in on Link, and I'm interested to see if Dawson's tire advantage will let him close down on Ghost X Reaper.
Just past halfway now, and Tasebot has a 9.2 second lead over Ghost Reaper, who has another about 7.3 over Dawson, and Link the Racer closing back in on Dawson just a little bit.
Cunibio has also just about caught JDM Culture as well now. But again, Culture has fresher tires. The engine does not have any damage right now. Cunibio has more worn tires, a little less fuel because he's turned some laps, but he has slightly more worn tires and a small amount of engine damage as well. Also, this little duo between Cunibio and JDM Culture are about to come up on some traffic just ahead of them as well. That is the lapped car of Wesda Best, who is now 6 laps down. And somehow, despite everything, Royally Stoned and Wesda Best are both staying about the same laps down with each other. So Stone and Wesda are still legitimately having a fight between the two of each other on circuit. It's just kind of been a matter of who makes the fewest mistakes between the two of them as this race continues.
Wesda Best in the grass, throwing advertisement triangles everywhere.
XR Frosted is now also closing in on Cunibio just a little bit as well. So even now, after this green flag run, which has lasted 32 some odd laps, we are still seeing potential battles in the midfield here as a fight is beginning to brew between JDM Culture and Cunibio, with XR Frosted hanging just close enough to capitalize if those two start getting at it again.
Looks like Ghost Reaper is starting to find his footing. Gained a couple of tenths the last couple of laps, hovering around 9 seconds, but about 8.8 to 9.2 is what's been hovering on the last few laps. Link the Racer closing in on Dawson about half a second. This last lap, Dawson closing in on Ghost. So it looks like the field is bunching up just a tiny bit, but nothing too major yet, as Nebo is tracking down JDM Culture less than a second back here.
Hazebot about to put Waterfire a lap down. That'd be our 9th place running car at the moment.
Nice looking Red Lobster number 79 car.
How long have you been broadcasting in this series, if you don't mind me asking?
This is my 5th full race.
What is the minimum, the fewest cautions you've seen in a race thus far? Because we've only had one yellow flag thus far. What is the fewest number of yellows you've seen in one of these races?
0.
Ooh, so we're not going to tie a record today, sadly.
No. Interestingly, last season, I was the pace car for this league. Oh, Royally Stone goes off the track, letting Taze went by.
He rolled the car and hit the tire barrier on the outside there. No damage somehow, but that car was at least halfway over and went roof first into tires, but there's somehow no damage on that 77.
Anyway, back to what I was... He's still spinning out. Back to what I was saying earlier. I was the pace car for this league. And when they went to Eagle Rock, I'll be damned if they didn't run, what was it, like 297-ish laps? Completely green, caution free. It was crazy.
That had to be exhausting for the drivers. Imagine going nearly 300 laps. Each lap taking about half a minute. So you're looking at 150 minutes. That's basically 2.5 hours of full pace racing. You don't get a chance to relax or anything. That has got to be exhausting.
Yeah, it was exhausting. It was even exhausting for me in my pace car. And I didn't even do anything. I mean, I was just sitting there watching the laps go by, waiting for somebody to tell me to get on the track, but nothing. But overall, it was a fun race. This is a good race, too. Ghost Reaper getting another couple of tenths on Taze. So I don't know if...
Yeah, Taze seems to be having a little bit of trouble with navigating traffic. It seems like he can only go about 3 or so laps before catching either Wesda or Royally Stone. And every time he catches traffic, it seems to hold him up significantly.
He may just be trying to maintain that gap at about 9 seconds.
Waterfire has had damage. Everything on that car is destroyed on the outside, although the engine is still functioning. But Waterfire has had an accident shortly after going a lap down. He is at risk, actually, of being caught by Hockey and losing 9th place to Hockey. Reminded, just because these drivers are a lap down does not mean their race is over. They are still fighting for legitimate positions between each other.
Nebo getting even closer to JDM Culture now. We're going to have a battle here shortly. Gets the run from turn 3 to turn 4. Tries to get another run off of turn 4. Up the hill, the long front stretch. One of the longest in the NASCAR series. Gets the draft. Just a little bit of draft. About 3 tenths back and cruising. Slowly as they're catching Hockey and lap car. See if he gets out of the way for him. Nebo just can't quite break into that sub 0.3 of a second mark to make a move on JDM Culture.
Another car has gone off there in turn 3. That is Royally Stoned in that 77 that has gone off in turn 3. The entire car's outside is destroyed, but again, nothing damaged on the inside except for the steering and the drive line. He'll likely be able to make it around. So it seems like our back markers keep having accidents, but everyone running about 9th and higher have been able to keep their cars relatively clean. It's primarily been back markers that keep ending up in accidents here.
Nebo made the move on JDM Culture now in 5th place. Link the Racer making quite a big dent into the gap between him and Dawson as he is down to under 10 seconds. And I think he's still holding pretty steady with Taze right now. So if there's another caution, look for Taze and Link the Racer to be about equal.
Big thing for Link the Racer, though, is that if we have a caution, he still will have to navigate his way around Dawson 14 and Ghost Reaper, and trying to get by that duo might take so long that Taze could open up a big gap before Link can have a chance to fight with him.
Yeah, yeah, a little bit of a
Fifth and
mistake
sixth
to turn through.
place, JDM Culture and Queen Evo have caught a bunch of traffic, so now these two are fighting. They have to navigate traffic while fighting.
Yeah, Nebo
That
just
26 is
got
going to try and go the long way around the 99, going into 1, but backs out of it. He's not willing to commit to it. He's going to try a crossover on exit. Side by side, and he's back by. JDM back into 5th position.
Man, Nebo worked so hard to get him, and then does. And then lap traffic messes him up and lets JDM Culture back through. Now he's was battling with Gen 3 LS, but has cleared that. And next one up they're going to fight is Hockey in ninth. Like the Racers had an issue, he's lost about 4 seconds.
Royally Stone has just gone off in the exact same section of the circuit. No damage this time. But he has come to a complete stop on the inside. Now he starts moving again. I have to wonder if some of these drivers who are laps down are just trying to fish for a caution, trying to do whatever they can to try and force a yellow flag here.
Yeah, like I said, you need two drivers involved, and at least one of them needs to have damage in order to have a caution. And with the field this spread out, I just don't think it's gonna happen, unfortunately. Junior Culture gets by
Hockey has a big slide in the dirt, but will get the car back on circuit before burying it in the sand trap there. I think Royally Stone has given up. That car is in ghost mode and is just cruising around at slow speed. I think he's probably hit pause and has stepped away. He probably couldn't take this anymore. We are only 2/3 of the way through this event. We've only had one yellow flag for a break, so I'm not that surprised. It's a shame, but I'm not that surprised that this happened.
PRG Black now going a lap down to Dawson. Excuse me, Taysbot, not Dawson.
Yeah. For Black, it's been frustrating. He qualified relatively well, but basically from lap 1 on, it's just been frustration. He's been stuck around the 7th to 8th position most of the day, as it's had nothing compared to what our leaders do.
Everybody's gonna be screaming for a caution here shortly.
I think everyone is screaming for a caution except for Taysbot and Ghost Reaper. Ghost Reaper is probably happy to run in second. Well, obviously, I think he would prefer to be first, but it's very obvious he doesn't have the pace for first. Ghost Reaper will be happy to be ahead of Dawson in their championship fight, and Taysbot will be happy to just let this thing run green to the end, just to get this thing over with and lock up this race win as quickly as possible.
And Royally Stoned has DNF'd from today's race. Sounds like they were having some sort of mechanical issue with their engine, so have to figure that out a little bit. No, I'm getting worried it was their toe link was bent. Couldn't make speed and just too many laps down to not be fixing.
So Gen 3 with a badly damaged car on the inside of turn 4. Well, it's not badly damaged, but the engine is in really bad shape right now. They'll likely pit. He is going to fall to 11th place now, and Royally Stone has now dropped out of the event. So we are now down to just 12 drivers on track.
Frosted only about 7-8 seconds away from being put up down. and leave it another 4 seconds.
Yeah. Ghost Reaper has closed the gap between himself and Tazebot back to about 8.5 seconds here, it seems. Although he is being harassed by that lapped car, that number 79.
With just about 35, 36 laps to go, we are coming up on pit stops. You can go, I think we decided about 32, 33 laps on fuel is what we've seen. So we'll probably try to go as long as we can. But expect some people to try something different.
Something's happened to water fire. That car is destroyed. I think he's had a spin, hit the outside wall, spun around, then hit the inside wall. That car is absolutely destroyed, and it hits the pit lane divider barrier there. He's not the only one. There's another car farther down the grid that has also hit the outside wall coming uphill. That's that number 2 Navy car. Waterfire is stuck and is blocking the track right now. He's blocking the pit lane entry, not the track, but he's blocking pit lane entry now. Finally, he limps it into pit lane entrance.
He is crawling in the pits, barely able to get it to about 20 miles an hour.
Yeah, we're going to see Gen 3 likely be able to... Well, I would think we'd see Gen 3 catch him, but Gen 3 has gone off in the final corner as well and is not really going anywhere fast.
Tazebot has begun to eat into... Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry. Ghost Reaper has begun to eat into Tazebot's lead, but only by a few hundredths. With about 44, 45 laps to go, let's see if he can mount a charge.
Interesting thing to me is Dawson. Dawson has a tire advantage, but despite that, he has just been hemorrhaging time to Ghost Reaper and Tazebot. Now, if Dawson elects to stay out for a long time again later, he may still have a small advantage going to the end with having less fuel in the car and fresher tires, but that gap between Dawson and Ghost Reaper is so massive, I don't see a way that he'll be able to take advantage of it. And now we see Hockey, 2487, he is pitting. So for Hockey, this pit stop will likely take him to the end of the event, but as he is already multiple laps down, he would need multiple yellow flags to have any shot at actually, doing anything for the rest of this race here.
Exactly. I mean, I think with the way these soft tires degrade so slowly, with the fall off being around 50% to 60%, I think I would personally much rather have less fuel than fresh tires. So pitting early could be beneficial for everybody except Dawson at this point.
Dawson will end up in a position where he's going to be running with a lot less fuel in a little bit.
Tires.
Yeah, he'll have worn tires, but he'll have less fuel when everyone else pits and puts in nearly a full tank, and Dawson will be running around with like 10% in the tank. But he's only going to have that for about 3 or 4 laps, and then he'll pit, and he'll end up with roughly the same amount of fuel as everyone else, with only very slightly faster tires. And like you said, the softs are just falling off so slowly. The tire advantage just does not seem to be working out. It's almost like these cars need a lot more power, where the tires need to be a lot softer for the tires to really have an effect here.
Exactly.
Something has happened to JDM culture. Well, nope, never mind. I saw that wrong. Something's happened to Quinebo. He has gradually been losing touch with JDM culture over the last few laps. Now, I do have to wonder if maybe that does have to deal with the tire differential, because remember, the gap between when the two of them pitted, JDM culture pitted about 8 laps later than Quinebo. JDM is running with 38% still in the fuel tank right now. Quinebo, who is in 6th, is running around with 26% in the fuel tank. So while that GoDaddy car has less fuel inside of it, it's also is at tires that are just about to hit the 40% mark. I think the other thing that could be factoring as well is that Quinebo has a very small amount of engine damage right now. You do the mathematics, he is running at about what is a third of 6, is running at about 2 horsepower down. These cars have 670 horses. He's about 2 horsepower down right now compared to the top.
Even though Ghost Reaper has clawed into that lead, it has stabilized between 2.5 and 8.5 and 8.7 seconds. What's the best now having issues? Sounds like it's his toe link in his right rear that has gone bad, and they've just decided to retire the car. They will have to try again next week.
Considering how many laps down he was, I'm honestly shocked they didn't pull it earlier when it was obvious they were not going to get any yellows.
PRG Black just lets Ghost Reaper ride.
Yeah, Ghost Reaper has closed the gap between himself and Tazebot down to about 8.5 seconds, but he gets to about this point, and then Tazebot opens up the pace the following lap, and the gap starts opening back up every time. The only time Tazebot seems to seriously lose time is when he's being held up by lap traffic. And speaking of lap traffic, the next car he will catch on circuit will be 7th place, XR Frosted, in that black and red number 15 Monster Rose car. I absolutely love that paint scheme. I think of all the paint schemes here, that would be my favorite, if not for the number 31 that is being ran here by Hockey.
You should have seen last week XR Frosted ran the same paint scheme, except instead of black, it was white.
That would be interesting. I'd be curious to see how that would look. Link the Racer has closed the gap between himself and Dawson down to about 10 seconds, but we are running with about 28 laps in the event, so we would have to close at a rate of about 1/4 of a second every lap in order to catch Dawson for third. And again, that is assuming that Dawson's pace isn't going to get faster later on here.
That's also just catching him. Catching a guy is one thing. Passing a guy is a completely other thing.
Yeah.
And the lead for Taze has grown by about 6-7 tenths just this lap, so must have been an issue for Ghost Reaper. Maybe a mistake.
Well, he was just trying to navigate around that 8th place car of PRG Black. And Black, even though he is a lap down, he is not just letting the lead go without issue. He is legitimately taking the fight to them, trying to hold on to position. So that might have been the big thing that caused Ghost Reaper to lose about a full second in that last circuit there.
Yeah, PRG Black would be the big winner of a caution if we're one to come out right now. This is the only car 1 lap down, so he'd be the only car to get back on the lead lap. Ghost Reaper goes off the quickly gets back on. The gap is increased about 10.5 seconds there.
Well, you say PRG Black would be the only car about to go a lap down, but that is a lap down, but I'm looking right now, the gap between XR Frosted and Tazebot on circuit is only about 2 seconds right now, and Frosted is not going to fight back. He pulls over and will let the leader by, so now we have 2 cars a lap down at this stage of the event.
I spoke too soon. There's a very real chance that with the pace Tazebot is running, he could lap up to JDM Coaching.
Yeah, I think that is very likely to happen at the rate this is going. We are on a green flag run that has lasted 55 straight laps at this stage of the event here. Ghost Reaper now falls more than 11 seconds off from Tazebot. That is a big hop over the curb. Who was that gigantic hop there?
Looks like that was I thought it was Waterfire just in front of Taze. Taze pits!
And Tazebot's pitting, and so is Cunibio. Does anyone else pit this time, I wonder? With about 26 laps left in the event, Ghost Reaper will go ahead and pit.
Let's see if Dawson pits there. He might stay
There's
out.
a car that is stopped on the back straightaway. That is Gen 3L in that number 81. The car is destroyed. Everything is ruined on that number 81 right now. Will that rain out a yellow?
If he can't get the car rolling, they may have to call.
He's moving, but is moving very slowly. Dawson has inherited the lead over Taysbot for the moment. Remember, Dawson pitted about 5 laps later, so he should have about 5 laps worth of fuel in the tank. As leaders go by, Gen 3 there, who is creeping at incredibly slow pace. A car running that slow, I'm shocked that's not going to warrant a yellow. PRG Black coming into the pits this time, so that will likely see him go back to being a lap down.
Taylor's about 9.5 seconds behind Dawson. About 9 seconds.
Link the Racer is right there behind Taze, as Link has not yet made his stop, so Link has caught Taze. Well, this will be a good chance to see.
Link still has to stop though, so...
Yeah, but this will be a good chance to see what their actual pace relative to each other is. If Link is able to get by Taze, then if we get a yellow flag, we could see a legitimate race kick back on between these two.
Yeah, I don't think they'll be able to get back by. Not enough tire life left to fight against those fresh tires, even with the fuel advantage that he holds.
Yeah. Well, that DeWalt car also has a little bit of engine damage. He's running around 5% engine damage at the moment, so that's not going to help him by any means either. Dawson now pits. So he has made a stop with about 24 laps to go. So again, Dawson will be able to put a little bit less fuel in the car. So his fuel numbers should be pretty close to what Taze and Ghost will be to the end, but Dawson will not have to worry about tire fall off at all. He will have no worries about tire fall off, I imagine.
Link the Racer finally pits.
JDM Culture has actually ended up ahead of Dawson and Link the Racer simply because JDM Culture also just has not yet made their final stop. So it looks like JDM Culture will be the last driver to make the last stop. They will be able to put a very, very small amount of fuel in the car, give them a nice short stop, and they'll have great fresh tires to the end. If we do get a late race yellow, it would be Dawson and JDM Culture would be in a good position, having a little bit less fuel and much fresher tires, but like you said earlier, with how spread out the field is, I feel like the likelihood of getting another yellow flag is incredibly, incredibly low here.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Taysbot just by himself hasn't really had to worry about anybody more or less this entire race. Besides maybe the original start and then that restart.
Yeah. XR Frosted runs in 6th with Quinibo about 2.5 seconds behind in 7th. Both of them are a lap down. Then you have PRG Black, who's about 1/5 of a lap behind them. So if Quinibo and Frosted get into it a bit, Black might be able to steal a position from them. Oh, PRG Black's had an accident. Engine's still fine, but that car has been involved in some significant damage. He'll have to pit to repair that, and that'll likely see PRG Black go a lap down, so he'll have to be fine with Hockey, I believe, going forward then, considering how much damage is on Black's car.
Not the race PRG Black was running championship-wise. Like I said, he's basically out of a championship, but still has a chance. Still had a chance, but not really anymore.
JDM Culture still has yet to make their final stop with about 21 laps left as the leader crosses the line. So yeah, when JDM Culture does finally stop, it is going to be a very, very short stop. They will not be putting anything close to a full tank will get you about 35 laps. He's going to be about 20. He's only going to be putting about 60% of a fuel tank in. So it will be a relatively short stop, and he's going to be flying on fresh tires with a very small fuel load. It's not going to be quite qualifying laps, but it's going to be feeling very close to what JDM Culture's qualifying laps were, for sure.
Take a look at Link the Racer though. In 5th place, he's only about 8.5 seconds behind Dawson, so he has a chance at catching. But Tesla has increased his lead to 13 seconds.
Surely, all right, the 26 car finally comes in with about 20 laps left in their event. So again, gonna be a relatively short fill. This will be what we anticipate is the last pit stop of the day.
It's just unfortunate that he is so far behind the leader that this short pit really won't make much of a difference.
They put a lot more fuel in that car than I thought they would need to. They put that thing up to about 86% fuel, according to what I saw. And water fire lags. Now there are only 10 cars left.
Well, if everybody goes the distance now, they could say, guess what? I finished in the top 10. Looks like JDM Culture is about 9 to 10 seconds behind getting lapped, or before he gets lapped. So it'll be close to see if he can end the last 19 or so laps.
More than anything else, I'm shocked that they put so much fuel in that number 26. He honestly probably could have been put in only like 70%. Would have made the pit stop a little shorter, made the car a little lighter and nimbler here on the run to the end. But for whatever reason, they've overfilled, and that's just going to make them unbearably slower. If JDM goes a lap down, I myself would put the blame on that.
Yeah, I mean, you only lose, maybe a couple of tenths in the pits with that extra little bit of fuel. I don't think it's going to make a huge difference. I think he felt he'd rather be safe than sorry, taking less fuel.
Well, it may not sound like it makes a huge difference, but at the rate that Tazebot has been going, he's going to catch JDM Culture with about 3 or 4 laps left. A very small difference could be enough, potentially, to decide if Culture finishes on the lead lap or not.
Yeah, I don't think he'll really care too much about that. As long as he stays in that top 5, right ahead of Frosty. I think he'll be happy with his result. He's got basically half a straightaway on 6th place as it stands, and about a quarter of a straightaway on the leader, so. Maybe a third of a straightaway. Like the racer making big chunks out of Dawson, down to under 6 seconds now. He may have a shot at catching with about 17 to go.
In 3 slides off again there in turn 2.
Yeah, his first official PPRL race not going quite the way he had hoped.
Gap between our top 2 has now opened up to 16 seconds, or almost 16 seconds, between Tazebot and Ghost Reaper now. Other fight to take note of is 6th place. XR Frosted still runs in 6th, Quinibo still runs in 7th, and Frosted is about to catch the lap car of PRD Black. Trying to navigate around him will likely be problematic, so there is a possibility we will see Quinibo get one last shot at Frosted here. And as our leader comes to the line, there will be 15 laps left here at Road America, a race that has been mostly clean and green. We are currently in the middle of what has been a 66-lap green flag run. And if I remember correctly, you said there are guaranteed no yellows in the last 10 laps of the race, right?
Yeah, exactly. So they only have about 5 or 6 more laps before they can't call another yellow. So I doubt we'll see one unless somebody does one intentionally, which would be unfortunate. Under 5 seconds now, the gap between Dawson and Link the Racer. I know Ghost Reaper will be cheering on Link the Racer because that is points that if Link the Racer can get by him, that Dawson will lose to Ghost Reaper in the championship. Nope, probably not anymore as Link the Racer drifts slightly off track, losing about his full second. Not quite enough speed.
All right, now Frosted has caught Black. He's going to have to try and navigate around the number 9 as quickly as possible. Thing is, remember, Black is not slow compared to Frosted. These two are legitimately around the same pace of each other. So if Frosted is held up by a significant amount of time, we will see Quinibo close back in and maybe have a fight for 6th position here to the end. 13 laps to go right now. Will be 12 when the leader hits the line. And JDM Culture, who runs in 5th, is very close to going a lap down as well. So we could see this race end with only our top 4 drivers finishing on the lead lap. Absolutely wild how that happens.
Frosted making a move on PRG Black, even though it's not for a position. It is PRG Black being an extra lap down compared to Frosted.
Also remember, PRG Black is still within his own fight for position against Hockey. He has about half lap over Hockey right now. Black does not need to make any big moves, have any big instance. If he keep it on track, he should still be able to maintain at least 8th position.
Looks like Tazebot has caught JDM Culture. Now it looks like he's gonna let him by on the inside. Just accepts that he's gonna go lap down. Now it's just the top 400 now.
Yeah, and the gap between Culture and the duo of Frosted and Quinibo, that gap is about a 1/5 of a lap right now. Also, that JDM culture machine, that Mustang has a little bit of engine damage, so there is a distinct possibility to see Frosted or Quinebo snipe culture for 5th place by the end of this race. I'm not saying it will happen, but it's definitely a possibility that is worth considering. Quinebo still has yet to navigate his way around PRG Black, though. So I think Taysbot has led all but like 8 laps of this event, all things considered. That is bloody incredible.
Yeah, just those few laps during those pit cycles are the only ones he did not
Yeah, I
leave.
think it was 5 laps in the first pit cycle, or the first green flag pit cycle. I think it was 3 laps in the second green flag pit cycle. And that's it. He's led everything since. It's been honestly incredible.
And Gen 3 LS will go an 8th lap down before the end of this race. And I think that will be the last of the lap cars for Tays.
As our leader crosses the start-finish line, it is now 10 laps to go, so officially, no more yellows for the rest of this race. This is officially a single yellow flag event, and we are going to be going a distance of 81 laps, green flag, at the end. 81 straight green flag laps, absolutely insane.
Yeah, I'm here for it though, I can't lie. Because you know what, it gets the event done with nice and quick.
Yeah, I honestly have to agree. I don't really think this circuit is very good for a race. So at least a quick green flag run will get it over with a little faster. Well, I don't really have anything else to say about the race overall, so now that we're just about done, what do you think the biggest, most interesting event of the event has been thus far today?
I'd say it was the restart after that caution that like 6 or 7 different cars were involved in and really shook up the field.
I would feel it's either that or the giant rollover that we saw between turns 3 and 4, where one of the cars got sideways, dug into the dirt, and rolled about 4 times, the rear end dancing on the fence.
Yeah,
that probably would have to be highlight of the race for me.
I believe that was Frosted, wasn't it?
Yes, I believe it was Frosted.
Yeah. Yeah, that was great. I caught that, like, I was on his POV when that happened, so that was pretty cool. I got to see that.
I'll also say the biggest disappointment of the race for me has just been the inability for drivers to make alternate pit strategies work. Pitting early has just been massively overvalued, and that coupled with the yellow flag on about lap 20, bringing everybody in at the same time, has meant that even if you're pitting early, no one was ever at any risk of running out of fuel. So strategy-wise, this race has been incredibly flat, and anyone trying to run an alternate strategy by going long has just been bit because it's just not giving them any significant advantage whatsoever.
Winter racer closing in on Dawson still. about 3.6 seconds behind, but only about 6 laps, 7 laps to go, so we'll be close to see if he gets caught up to him. Has him in his sights. Just can't make any mistakes.
6th and 7th place still running on track, relatively close to each other, but they have a lead lap car in the form of Ghost Reaper between the two of them right now. So as long as Ghost Reaper doesn't catch Frosted and knock him off circuit, that's not going to be a factor. And then JDM Culture is so far away from everyone else that as long as he doesn't completely destroy and detonate the engine, I think JDM will lock up 5th place. He is down on power. He has missed some shifting and has damaged the engine a bit, but I do think that JDM will be able to lock up 5th place here. Frosted closes up on Gen 3L once more. Gen 3 blocks that 15 a bit, and Frosted has to back way out to not run over the back of Gen 3. And that will bring Ghost Reaper up, so now Ghost Reaper has to navigate both that number 15 and that 81 on the front straightaway here. Frosted still is not able to clear Gen 3 as they go through turn 1 this time either. He's going to try and go the long way around the outside, going into turn 2, potentially. No, he backs out. He's going to try the crossover, gets the car briefly alongside, can't get the power down, though. So Frosted is really being held up by traffic, and that is bringing Quinibo in these last few handful of laps. Will it be enough for Quinibo to try and get alongside that 15? 15 looks to the inside. Does he go for a big dive in turn 3? No, he's going to back out. Can't get alongside Gen 3 out of turn 3. Now through turn 4. Still stuck behind that 81. And Quinibo is closing. Now Frosted gets alongside, though.
And makes it
down
clean.
across the straight. He's clear.
Look at Link the Racer. Under 2.5 seconds to Dawson with only 4 laps to go. And PRG Black in between them.
Quinibo gets by Gen 3 a lot quicker than Frosted did. The gap has closed, but I don't think it's closed enough. I think Frosted will just barely be able to hold on to 6.
Stay tuned after the race as we're going to try to get your top 3 finishers in the race into the party to talk about the race and get some post-race interviews. Starting with 3rd place and then ending with the winner.
Ooh, number 9 ended up right in front of Link the Racer car and really compromised his run coming onto the front straightaway.
Link the Racer needs to catch Dawson by about 8 tenths per lap at this rate in order to catch him by the end of the race and pass him.
Hockey has jumped into the pits here with just 2 laps left. Oh, he ran out of fuel. Well, he came very close to running out of fuel at least. So Hockey has to make an emergency stop near the end, so that will lock him into the 9th place finish and will basically guarantee PRG Black an 8th place finish as long as he also run out of fuel here. kind of weird how you would run out of fuel when literally that yellow we had earlier is basically meant that no one has had to worry about fuel mileage. Everyone was just locked onto a two-stop strategy. Oh, Link went off. Link went off there. Going through turns 3 and 4, he dropped tires off, and now the gap between himself and Dawson opens up to about 3 full seconds, maybe a little bit more. They'll have 2 more laps. Can Link close by what will basically be a second and a half a lap of these final 2 circuits?
Yeah, with 2 laps to go, coming to 1 to go for the leader. This time up the hill for the penultimate time. Taysbot probably going to win this race unless he has a 20-second mistake. But that is incredibly unlikely.
White flag is in the air.
Through turns 1 and 2, down the curvy backstretch for the final time. Taysbot can take a breath. All he has to do is take this last few turns nice and slow, secure the victory, and he will have his 4th of the season. Taysbot, your winner here at Road America on the East layout.
So congratulations to Taysbot on his 4th win of the season. Ghost Reaper now navigating his way through the final corner. He will secure 2nd place to try and help him out. It's only 1 point against Dawson, but it will be 1 point that he will massively appreciate here at Road America. Still, he will be almost 20 seconds off of Taysbot when he finally crosses the line. 3rd place, looks like Dawson will do everything he needs to secure 3rd place. The championship fight between Ghost Reaper and Dawson will stay alive for just a little bit longer here. And then Link the Racer, who has been all up and down and all around the field, will come home in 4th in the end.
There's only a 9-second gap. Or no, excuse me, a 9-point gap officially between Ghost Reaper and Dawson. It is all to play in this championship, as you get an extra 5 points for winning the race. So if Ghost Reaper can win the last 2 races, regardless of how Dawson does, he will be the champion, and Dawson will come up 1 point short.
Canadian Culture just barely comes across the line in front of XR Frosted there. So Frosted will still get 6th, 7th will still go to Quinibo. It'll take PRG Black just a little bit longer to finish up, but Black will finish here.
I believe he has to go around 1 more time. Yep.
Oh, you're right, he does.
I wish the game would just end it. If you're a lap down, you're a lap down. I'm not sure why it makes you finish, but that's alright. It's not too big of a deal.
I feel like if you're only 1 lap down, there's a reason, because you can still end up fighting with other people who are a lap down. But if you're like the only person 3 laps down or something, it's really not going to matter. Well, at this point, do you want to go ahead and reach out to Taze, Ghost, and Dawson, our top 3 finishers, for interviews?
No, well, yeah, it is. Yeah, just put that in the general chat. I have top 3. Yes, we will start. We will wait for Dawson here. Let me tell you.
All right. Well, while we are here, let's go ahead and we'll start this off with our race winner, Taysbot. Taze, Very interesting race to say the least. I think you led every lap except like 8 of them on pit stop sequences, won by nearly 20 seconds as well. What do you have to say about that dominant performance out there?
It was a lot of practice. I think I maybe had over 300, 400 laps this week just on Road America. So, I mean, they paid off. No mess ups throughout the race. Everything went in my favor. It was a pretty good race.
300 laps around here. Oh my goodness. I cannot stand this circuit. Well, this layout of this circuit. I love Road America. I can't imagine how mind-numbing it must have been to do 300-400 laps around here.
It was a lot, and I can tell you that. Ghost was right there with me. We were practicing, what, 3-4 days out of those?
Yep.
All right, still 3 more races left in the season. Obviously, you're not really in championship contention, but you're able to still keep stealing points from other people. Do you think you can win the last 3 races of the season?
Honestly, I have a chance. Ghost has been my teammate this whole time. He's been helping me with the pit stops, so it's been going well. Also, if you didn't see with the back of my car, there was a thing called Nebo with a heart. He's part of it as well. He's the one that got me in PPRL. He's the one that made the team to get me on here. So props to him too.
Woo! That's my driver.
All right, well, that's the word from Taze. Now I want to go ahead and hear from our second place finisher, Ghost Trooper. Ghost, you're still in the middle of this relatively tight championship battle with 3 races left. You finish ahead of your title rival, Dawson, today. What's the plan for the next 3 races of the season?
Put as many cars in between me and him as possible. That's the only thing I can do, you know?
All right. What do you want to say about the race, if anything? It seemed like you and Taze both were just kind of in no man's land most of the day, but
Yeah, I mean it was definitely practice paid off there. Like he said, ran 300 to 400 laps. It's just, I don't know, nothing I could really do. He was just faster than me. Couldn't keep up with him.
all right. Savage, you have anything you want to ask of them?
I don't think so. I can hit all the main points.
All right.
I wonder where Dawson's at. I don't know where Dawson is.
I'm gonna see if he can.
Also, Taze, it looks like in the end you were the driver with the fastest lap in the race as well, so good job on that also.
Thank you. Thank you. I think that was my first ever 1 minute and 7. I was running 1 minute 8 so basically the whole time. Finally got it down.
All right, we might not be able to get Dawson for a post-race interview here. He may have already done. Yeah. So after a race that has taken just a little bit under 2 hours here, that seems to be the end of our Road America run. Relatively interesting event. Had an 81 lap straight green flag run after the only yellow flag early on in the event. Although it's not like this was a perfectly clean race, we probably saw about 24 accidents over the course of the event, most of them being single car incidents, cars flipping. One car went roof first into a tire barrier at one point, another one was barrel rolling against the fence. We seen drivers spinning out, people making for some incredible dives that just had no way of working. But in the end, it was Tazebot who was able to keep it nice and clean all the way through, finished the race in a little bit under an hour and 50 minutes overall, and recorded the fastest lap as well after leading about 95 laps in today's event. With that in mind, that should pretty much wrap up our broadcast here from Road America. In about a week's time, the PPRL series should be back with another event for the NASCAR Championship. But until then, your host today has been Savage. or as his full name actually is, Savage Speeder 88, and hopefully you will all be here to catch him again in a week's time for the next PPRL event.
Yes, thank you, Insane Leader, with 2 races left. The gap only being 9 points between Dawson and Ghost Reaper. We hope to see you guys next week for the Indy 300. Until next week, bye.